just because like I think there's like the intersection of us being learned women, education professionals,
Yeah.
but also coming from a Black American experience, there's something unique about it. And I think that's how I like to communicate to clients. It's like, hey, look, I'm gonna give it to you real based on your situation. This is what you should do.
Hmm.
And the collaborative way that we work with one another hand in hand. If there's someone that I know that, okay, you need to talk to someone in this space, let me
Hmm.
refer you to Latavia. This is a person that will communicate with you in a way that I know that I'm very confident that you'll be able to understand and you'll be in good hands. And so we got to bring that like collaborative feeling back, with legacy conversations. So I got so many good things out of it. I don't know everything. We're not supposed to be operating in silos anyway. So take the time, watch the videos for the free, maybe get
Right.
the low cost digital products for, a little bit of money. And then if you do need more hands on help or your situation is more complex and you're willing to take the time to do it on your own, pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
You already shared an example of proactive planning with your grandmother. So I don't even need to ask too much about that. I do want to know, when you consult with clients, what are the major factors that you assess before structuring their legal protection?
Great question. I would say, because I'm like, have I even really I know that I do it, but it's one of those things like, have I thought about how I do it? But essentially, it goes back to trying to get to know them.
Yeah.
Like, where are you? What do you want to do? Someone called maybe back in December, early January, saying that they needed to get a trust. Okay, cool, great. I'm happy to help you. Do you have anything? So it was, what documents do you have anything? Well, I already have a will. Oh, okay. Well, let's back up. What does it say? Well, what has anything changed since you created it? Well, no, but because I guess they'd seen a post or heard
Hmm.
something that they need to get a trust. And I'm like, okay. And then, of course, I let her know what the price range was for that type of planning. But hold up, that's a lot. And I'm like, well, here, well, let's back up. What do you have? What are you trying to accomplish? And I think with that one, it was, making sure that her children, the house went to them, that they had the house, that there was some money for them. I was like, well, you have life insurance, things like that. So it's like kind of what I think is just figuring out where are you,
Yeah.
what do you need, and then let's put something together based on what you need and
Hmm.
also what you're willing to do and where you are currently financially of what you can afford to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a used car salesman.
Mm-mm.
I'm not. Yes, it would be beneficial to me if you get more services or you do a trust-based plan as opposed to a will-based plan.
Right.
But if I don't feel like I've actually helped you,
Right.
it's not. Um, so that's how I approach it of like what actually works for you. And then I also have the conversation too with people of like, well, hey, based on what you're saying right now, a will could work. Now, of
Mm.
course, as things progress or if life changes, we can certainly, now we can shift to a trust because there's creating a trust and then
Hmm.
funding and maintaining a trust. And that's the part I would say it has that special place in my heart where all these people talk about S corps.
Oh, you and
Uh,
I.
yes, but it's starting to get. I love that more people are talking about trust and the benefits of them and how they can be a great tool and more people need to use them. But I feel like you're not having the other part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You can create a trust, pay the money. We can put all the things in there, all the details. If you don't go fund that trust, if you don't then go have somebody in place, if you yourself are not capable of maintaining and managing and making sure the funds that are in that trust are growing and
Hmm.
not steadily declining, you won't have it's because I always use the analogy. For me, what helps is the trust is a bucket. If there's nothing in that bucket and there's nobody protecting that bucket, if it's full of, let's say you do fund it and you get it full,
Hmm.
but somebody's just out here walking and it's just water just splash, splish, splash, and falling all over.
Yeah.
time it's ready, we need, I think it's the Little Rascals when they were trying to put out the fire, they getting all the water in there, then we running it back. By the time you get to the place where you need to throw the water on, there's like a drop.
Yes.
You're still going to end up having to go through probate and all this stuff until you spend all this money.
Hmm.
And now what?
Right.
And so it's that of like, I do think trusts are a great tool, but you may not be there right now.
Right.
Not to say that you won't get there. And even if you create a trust, nothing with planning is set it and forget it.
Hmm.
You still need to review it. I always use the analogy of open enrollment with healthcare.
Yes.
We review that every year, but they say if there's any major life event, it qualify you to make changes in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Same with your plan, especially with life insurance or retirement accounts, anything where you can designate a beneficiary.
Hmm.
Please make sure you go back and check that because
Your ex might be on there and you're like, wait a minute.
I was actually just reading something with case law where there have been some changes where there are methods of possibly trying to retrieve that money if it
Hmm.
happens where something goes to an ex versus what was in maybe like a divorce decree.
Hmm.
But then still, it's a process and it's
Yeah.
not a guarantee. So it's even that piece that I'm learning more of just the intersection or overlap of estate planning or legacy planning with family law, like the family dynamics with business, with so many other areas that it's like, okay, make sure we're thinking about the whole picture.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I kind of had this revelation a couple years ago about Cinderella. Like that is the Cinderella is the result of poor planning
Talk about
because I'm quite certain that was not her dad's intention. Her to
it.
be treated that way. And, obviously, I don't know what the circumstances are about it sounded like his death was obviously sooner than anybody was expecting.
Yes.
But he clearly had done stuff to make sure his family was taken care of.
Hmm.
But he married someone who it's a blended family. And that's where those conversations become even more important. And I've had some clients where they have adult children, but their spouse also has adult children that are not biologically theirs. And so it's like, okay, do you want no, I don't want anything to go to them. So we need to make sure this is clear in the planning of what you want, where you want things to go, and where you don't want things to go. So let's not end up
Yeah.
Cinderella.
This is so good. You leading me right into the last segment of the show, which is the name of the show, Beyond the Numbers. When it comes to legal protection and legacy planning, how do you have those conversations with clients? Because obviously they're coming to you and they're like, I got like this business. I want to protect things. I want to make sure my kids get what they're supposed to get. And maybe this person doesn't get what they're not supposed to get. How do you even like approach those things beyond talking about the numbers and the
Mhm.
assets?
It's really about just a conversation. Tell me a little bit about you. Let's put the numbers, let's put the list. If someone is reaching out about estate planning or even for starting a business, I do have questionnaires and things that I send to
Mhm.
help initiate that. But I also know that those things can be overwhelming for people. And so I always are like, hey, I'm going to send it to you. Try to fill it out. If you have any questions or if you just want to talk through it, we can do that. But I
Yeah,
use that as a bit of a reminder for myself of the things to cover, but also as a way to trigger some thoughts for them because a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. And
true.
they don't even know to think about that or consider those things. So it really is because I'm that way too when I call certain, how much does it cost?
Yes.
How much? Don't give me the spiel. This sounds all cool, but
It
how
sounds
much?
great. What is the cost?
Right, because
Yes.
we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk, and you're gonna show me all these things, and I've learned I have expensive taste, so I'm naturally be gravitate toward a thing that's the high end. So, what are the costs? The consumer in me understands that. If they're pressing, I will let them know that. But hey, this is what's included. So, as
Yeah.
an example, if I'm doing a will-based plan, it starts at 1,000.
Hmm.
You're going to get the initial consultation where we're going to talk about goal setting. We're going to go through that. It also includes follow up meetings, as many as you need, whether
Hmm.
that's setting up a virtual call, meeting in person, over the phone, or emails. But all the plans, you're getting a will, you're getting an advanced medical directive, a power of attorney, maybe one or two other documents, depending on what you're needed. So you're going to get a plan.
Yes.
Um, We're gonna talk about it. Like, I'm gonna draft it. Then we're gonna talk again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you review it so that you can see, and everybody doesn't do that, but sometimes I want you to do it to make sure that if you read it, you understand
Right.
what it says and that it reflects what you want to happen. If there's any confusion based on how it's been written, let's clear that up
Yeah.
before we then meet again to actually sign and execute the documents so that they're valid. I also include a 3-year review in all of my plans. So after 3, because like I said, it's not set it and forget it. And at 3
Yes.
years, I set reminders on my end to follow up with people to say, hey, just checking in, how are things going?
Mm-hmm.
Has anything changed? Do you have any questions? And I'll do an update if it's something minor, or we'll revisit of this was working then. Maybe now you've had some more children, or
Right.
you no longer have the business, or you business is booming, and whatever the case may be, let's revisit to see if what is in this current plan
Mm-hmm.
does it work.
Yeah.
If it does, great.
You're good.
If it doesn't, okay, let's how do we adjust?
I love that. I mean, it's the maintenance part of it. You pay a certain amount of front for everything that you're doing, honestly, because things do happen and being prepared for those things is important. And not only that, it sounds like that you cultivate those relationships by following up with people. Even if nothing has changed, you're in the back of their mind when they're thinking like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should go ahead and hit up Latavia and see what's happening. Like, what's going on? Um, I get the same thing like, hey,
I got
something random happened. Is this going to be an impact? Because you are educating them throughout the process. And they know that if they reach out to you with a question regarding their plan, they know they're going to get an answer back. I don't know if this applies to law, but what I like to do is like, this is my recommendation. Here are your
Mhm.
options, right? At the minimum, you should do this. And it might take you time to do it, but it might not cost you as much as the we do it for you type of plan.
Mhm.
Having that knowledge in the way of communicating to people in a way that they understand is very much invaluable. It's an invaluable resource that you have. So, yeah, that's amazing. Next, we're just going to do our quick call to action to wrap things up. Because I could talk to you all day. What is one piece of advice that you'd give an entrepreneur or an individual that hasn't started planning their legacy yet?
I'll say take some time, have a conversation with yourself, whether that's you just talking
Mm-hmm.
or if it's writing it down, journaling. If you could have it, like, what do you want it to look like? And who are the people that you want to take care of?
Yeah.
Or what is your why for doing this business or
Mm-hmm.
this venture? And what is the impact that you wanted to have? And think about those things. And then once you figure out why you're doing it, what you want your impact to be, then work backwards. What are some things that I need to do to make sure that that happens? And then also that that impact is still felt when I'm no longer doing it or when I'm not here to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think from there, once you have that, then it's what do I need on my board of director, board of advisors to help me accomplish that? What is the team
Mm-hmm.
that I need to help accomplish those things? And then go from there.
Yeah.
And the caveat is always, if you like we've said it before, if you go do business, you need an attorney, you need an accountant. So
Yes.
and know that it's worth it. At least do a consultation.
Yeah.
And that's what like I've gotten some flack sometimes with it. I do charge for consultations,
Mm-hmm.
but what as I said before, if I'm charging you something, I know that I'm putting my all into it and you're gonna get something. So
Yeah.
I say know that it's worth it to invest that money in a consultation with a CPA, with an
Yes.
attorney. Even if you're not at a point of where you can afford to for them to do a service. And as you mentioned, similar to you, when any consultation, I send a follow-up with a summary of what we talked about. Here are some recommendations. Here are
Mm-hmm.
some resources, whether it's things that I've provided, I've prepared, or I have sent plenty of folks your information. Here, you need a CPA. Go talk to, here's somebody to talk to. Or
Yes.
you're in a different industry. There's other attorneys that I put links
Mm-hmm.
in the emails of here are some resources, here are some next steps.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't get a tangible document that I
Right.
did for you, but you got something for your time. You're also getting 45 minutes to an hour of my time
Yeah.
because I inevitably always go over. Because as you can see from this, I just be talking. So
Hmm.
another long-winded answer.
That's one of the things that I think is so amazing about you. And it makes me feel reassured in how I do businesses because, yeah, you're providing so much information and it might feel like they're not getting much out of it because the information just flows from you. And the information that you're giving is valuable because you have learned not only the legalese and all of the education pieces of it, but how to communicate it to someone who's not skilled in that area. So a point is like you can point them into the right direction. They haven't wasted hours and hours doing something that they're not having any experience in. I'm talking about myself with this editing.
I've been there. If you got questions, let me know. Cause I didn't been to YouTube University, a few others, and I got equipment. I put the time in to learn.
Hmm. I can't do it. I'll let you
But
know how
now,
my editor works, and I'm just gonna send them your way because
yes, because I'm also at a place, Lord, I can't keep doing it
I
all.
can't do this. I ain't got time for this,
It's a
and I
lot.
don't want to learn it.
Right. There are people you have skilled and equipped to do this.
It wasn't me.
Yes. So thank you for sending the resources so that I can support them
Come on.
the things and they can help bring my vision to life.
Amen.
Mhm.
I think that people should be paying for the knowledge that you're able to convey to them. You're saving them time from not wasting time researching it and then doing it poorly. Where can the people find you?
Thank you again for this. Yes, you can find me. Name is Latavia. The firm is LA Legal Solutions with a Z. So the website, lalegalsolutions.com. On Instagram and Facebook, I think even TikTok, it's LA Legal Solutions. There's also a YouTube channel. So for some of the legacy conversations that I was talking
Yeah.
about, I think all of them now, maybe except for this one, are
Mhm.
up on the YouTube channel. So if you have some of what we talked about today and some other things, you can go listen. Legacy Conversations will be returning in 2025, Saturday mornings. But yeah, so it'll be via Zoom, but I'm also working on trying to make sure that it'll be available on like Facebook or YouTube live at the same time. Also all of this is on the website, but also for the entrepreneurs, I recognize that you may not always need an attorney to do a specific thing. Sometimes you just have a question.
Mhm.
Something that I started last year is the Legacy Builders is more of a membership based plan. And so you can do, and there's various tiers, but I think I said 199 a month.
Yes. I didn't know you
And
had a membership. Did I? Is this
I
new?
gotta work on putting it out there. It's new, but like I developed it last year. There's information out there, but essentially I developed that for entrepreneurs specifically. Not that you have to be an entrepreneur to use that, but I know that you don't always need an attorney to draft something or to do something or represent you for it. But you just got some questions
Yep.
that you want to be able to kind of brainstorm, strategize. Like I'm thinking about this. And so it was created for that, where there will be monthly conversations where we'll cover a different topic. So you'll have access to that, so where you can ask me questions in that setting, or I want to say you get you can get one or two kind of consultations, phone calls with that. And I think I said it's a 3-month commitment of doing that. Of course, I hope you continue, but that's also a resource for entrepreneurs where you can ask questions. And then of course you get a discount on services if they're needed. But that's
So
out there.
199 a month?
Yes. That's pretty. Like I said, I know. My friend got on me because it was going to be lower than that.
I wish I was on that call because I would text him like, wait a minute.
I want it to be affordable.
I understand that.
And I know that for those who are starting out, you have a lot of questions. And also, we talk about beyond the numbers, but the numbers are still very real.
The numbers are still there.
And so when you're doing your budget, I want to make sure it's something that you can, because for me, I always look at stuff as if I start a service, I want to be able to continue it.
Yes.
When I'm talking about gym memberships and trainers, like, am I going to be able to maintain it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's also the thought of, and it might, like I said, the goal is there's tiers.
Yeah.
It's more of an entry level. So there are options that will be a bit more depending on what your needs are. But I want it to be affordable and to feel attainable.
I'm giving you crap, but I have a membership. It's funny because I can say that stuff like, "Girl, that's not expensive," and I'm like, maybe you should talk to yourself about that too.
Hey, the Lord has been working on me. Like I said,
Hmm.
even getting to the piece of I used to not charge for consultations.
Yeah,
And I was doing the same amount of stuff. And because
yeah.
sometimes people don't need to hire, they do just want to call and try to get questions answered and pick your brain so they can go do it themselves. I'm not trying to knock your hustle.
Mm-mm.
Ever, I know that I'm giving valuable information. I care. I get invested sometimes
Yes,
too
me
invested
too.
with people when they tell me their ideas. So, like to the point where I have former clients that they'll just call me because they have questions, and I'm not charging you because it's related to the thing that I did before,
Right.
and things have happened, and you have a question. Okay, 15, 20 minutes. I'll do that within reason.
If they need some additional help, they can go ahead and join that membership.
Yes. So, like I said, those are the things. LA Legal Solutions, there's information about all of that stuff on the website as well as Instagram and LinkedIn.